Welcome back. My name is Corinne Phillips and this is Fresh Pea Cooks. Today I want to share with you my favorite go-to peanut sauce that takes 5 minutes, and it's not even really a recipe. You're basically going to be guided by principles of taste: hot, sour, sweet, and salty. This is kind of the magic formula, especially for Thai food. Certain cuisines follow these principles as their kind of guides. The base of this recipe is peanuts and coconut milk. Now, this is peanut butter because I'm American and we have a love affair with peanut butter. If you're watching from anywhere that peanut butter is kind of one of those scarce commodities, just use whole roasted peanuts. And you can just blend them up in your blender with the rest of the sauce. Now, this is one of those recipes that is so flexible, but just keep in mind that the closer and the more authentic the Thai ingredients, the more familiar that peanut sauce flavor is going to be. But it's going to be just as delicious if you say you use brown sugar, salt, and lime juice. So don't get caught up if you don't have some of these ingredients. And that's why I'm giving you options. Now, for the hot component, you can use Thai chilies, which are the most authentic. You can use Sriracha, which is pretty good. You could use chili paste if you have it, or if you don't, you can use just dried chili flake. So you can see how flexible this is. For the salty, you could use salt, you could use fish sauce. If you want to keep it vegetarian or vegan, you can use soy sauce. For the sour component, you can use rice wine vinegar, which is the most authentic, but sherry vinegar is delicious in this, and it gives a really depth to the peanut sauce. So that's a nice option, and sometimes, again, I use both. You can use lemon or lime juice. And for the sweet, you can use dates, you can use maple syrup, or you can go for the more authentic palm sugar. And for the last component, it's kind of add-ons. It's things that I don't always have fresh and on hand, but when I do, I use them. Like fresh ginger root, garlic, lime leaves. These are kaffir lime leaves, and I get them at the Asian store. And because it's an hour drive for me, and I don't often buy them, I love having them on hand for my curries, for my tom yum soup, and for peanut sauce. So I freeze them. Now, this one was fresh. The friend picked up and brought by the other day. These guys, I bought fresh and just froze them, and you can just see how supple and beautiful they are. So they freeze really well. Cilantro, I think cilantro is wonderful in this. And sometimes, just to give it a little bit of richness, I'll put a tiny dash of sesame oil in it. So if this is my palette, I'm going to pick my ideal hot, sour, sweet, salty ingredients. So for hot, I'm going to stick with the Thai chilies, and these guys are going to go away. Now for the salty, I'm going to keep it vegan and just do soy sauce. For the sweet, I'm going to stick with my authentic palm sugar. The sour, I might do a little lemon. I'm going to do lemon and rice wine vinegar. We'll do a little bit of cilantro. We'll do a couple lime leaves, a couple cloves of garlic, and a decent size knob, I guess you call these, of fresh ginger. You could use ginger powder as well. If you're enjoying the video, please hit the thumbs up. It really does help us creators. This is my setup. We've got our base ingredients, we've got our salty, our hot, our sour, and our sweet. Now, because this is a no recipe, I'm just going to scoop out, so about 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter. There are a lot of brands of coconut cream on the market and coconut milk. Read your labels, because the coconut milks that come from Asia often have preservatives in them. There are a few brands that are just coconut and water. And I know Nature Harvest is one of them. Savoy coconut cream is another. And as Thai Kitchen also makes a really lovely full fat coconut cream. They make a light. There's absolutely no reason to ever buy light coconut milk. My garlic in, my lime leaves in, The ginger, I just rinsed it, and I don't bother peeling it because we're blending this, and this is such a high-power blender that you will never notice this little papery skin. And I always think skin is better than no skin. So that's going in. I add enough vinegar to make it slightly sour, or enough lime juice. So that's usually like a couple tablespoons. If you want to serve this as a dressing, like over a grain bowl or steamed vegetables, I like it to be a little bit more on the tangy side, more like a dressing. And so I might add a little bit more, and I might add a little more ginger. But if I'm using it as a dip, I'll make it a little bit thicker and a little more peanutty, and maybe a little spicier and less sour. Palm sugar comes in all different sorts of shapes and sizes. It comes in little tubs, it comes in these round little pucks, and it comes in big pucks. The best stuff I get at the Thai market, and it's just crumbly and beautiful, like brown sugar. It's just solid enough to hold together. This is not super great, but what you can do is add a little bit of water, bring it up to a boil, melt it, and then just store the sugar syrup in your refrigerator, and it stores for a few weeks. Okay, and for salty, I'm going to add in our soy sauce. And it's maybe, soy sauce is really salty, so maybe a teaspoon is where you should start. And the chilies, because I'm really a Thai person in disguise. I like my food super hot. I'm throwing them in, seeds and all. Now, the interesting thing about lemon or lime and cilantro, if you make the sauce up to this point, you can keep it for a couple weeks. When you go to serve it, you can stir in fresh lime and fresh cilantro. It won't go bad. But if you put these ingredients in now, you will have to use it up within like 4 or 5 days. Now it is the month of January, so a lot of you have sworn off sugar, or you're doing some sort of clean eating program. So if that's the case, instead of using palm sugar, use 3 or 4 dates, because metabolically dates are whole and have fiber in them, which reduces the way our body reacts to the sugar in them. It's spicy. It's salty, it's a little bit sour, but not too sour. If this were to be my finished dressing, I would add a little bit more vinegar right now. But I want to keep some of this for later. So I'm going to pour half of it in a container, and I'm just going to keep this in the fridge. This part, I'm going to add just a little bit of fresh lemon juice. Now, I prefer lime. The Thais use lime more often. I just didn't have them. And a good chunk of cilantro. Now, the key to being a really good cook is to taste your food. And I think that's the one thing that we're intimidated. If we don't have a lot of skills in the kitchen, we're kind of intimidated by recipes. We have more faith in this published cookbook writer or author than we do ourselves. And so we serve the food as is without tasting it. And you really do learn more about cooking when you taste along the way, because then you can see how certain ingredients transform dishes. And it's really important. That's delicious. That's it. There's your 5-minute blender peanut sauce that you can use as a dressing for salads. You can pour it over steamed or roasted vegetables. I love to make salad rolls with rice wrappers and just a whole bunch of fresh vegetables, sometimes rice vermicelli, sometimes I won't. I'll just do vegetables and roll them up and use this as a dip. You could also use this as a dressing for grain bowls. So a grain of your choice, some beans, some steamed vegetables, and a really beautiful peanut sauce over the top. I hope you've all enjoyed the video and that you get in the kitchen and you experiment and let your taste be your guide. Now, for those of you interested in anything that I've used in this video, I've cataloged everything in one place, shopfreshpea.com. You can find blenders, you can find my knives, cutting boards, my favorite ingredients, which is one of my favorite sections. And so I've taken all of my research, all of my years of experience, and whittled down the fundamental items for the kitchen. So they're all there, shopfreshpea.com. And for those of you new to the channel, I'd like to invite you to subscribe. I've included a video here, 5 ways to inspire your cooking. Cooking is something that we do every day, and so to fall in love with it makes our time in the kitchen so much more enjoyable for us and for everyone around us. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.